that works. Look at this outfit. It's so cute. It's literally my favorite thing ever. My friend Alexa made them. If you guys want them, I will link her Instagram below because they're the cutest. Look at these. They're the cutest things ever. Anyways, I'm getting off topic once again. Hello and welcome back to Live Tech Sarah production. This is a change of scenery because I just wanted to chill today. I'm in this cute little sweatsuit that my friend Alexa made. Look it. Ooh. It's literally the most comfortable thing ever, but that is besides the point. For people on the podcast that is hearing this, I have a really cute tie-dye fit on. Looking fresh, looking fly, just looking good, you know. Anyways, not the point. As you guys know, we have been doing a series that is the 5 stages of self-awareness. So we've gone all the way from 1, now we are in stage 5, and I asked you guys, what was the stage that you wanted me to do a specific video on? You guys selected stage 5, which is self-respect. So not just self-respect, but self-discipline and consistency and the believability that we talk about so many times. The believability is that inner trust that you have within yourself when you do the things that you say you're gonna do. So if you haven't listened to the other stages of self-awareness, I recommend going back to that. Everything will be linked below. There are 5 total stages, coming from the idea that first you have to recognize that there is a problem, and then you have to dig deeper and figure out where it comes from and why. And basically now all of that leads into stage 5, which is this level of self-respect and trust and believability in self. We have figured out the problem, the root cause, the reason why this keeps coming up, the emotions that trigger this response. We have figured out the emotional payoff, the reason, the real why we do what we do, the emotional itch, the scratch, the deep-rooted reason as to why this habit, why this belief, why this idea, why this behavior is still continuing. So once you identify all that, and you're able to not just identify, but then also release. A huge piece of what we talked about in the other episodes was the forgiveness that you have to create within yourself. You have to not only forgive yourself for the wrongs that you've done and the places in which you've messed up, also forgiving and giving that apology to others as well, giving them the opportunity to forgive you for maybe the ways in which you hurt them. So the forgiveness was huge. Like I said, if you haven't heard this part, go into the other podcasts and fucking everything's in there. But now we're at the last stage. This is the final stage and what I call the maintenance stage. And it's maintenance because, like I said with self-awareness, it's a never-ending cycle. You're constantly going to be playing in this feedback loop of learning something new about yourself and then taking that information, figuring out where it comes from, peeling back the layers like an onion and going, okay, this is what I know about this. What do I want to change? What do I want my outcome to be, right? So this is a never-ending cycle, whether it's your friendships, whether it's your relationships, whether it's with your family, whether it's your career, your business, your goals, your life, it doesn't matter. Every area of your life will have this puzzle piece, will have this level of self-awareness that you believe you know everything about yourself, and then I promise you go, oh, this is new, this is a new area, I didn't know this existed. What is it? It's like a different challenge for a different level, but I know that there's a saying about it, and I don't remember what the saying is, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what it is. The thing about this self-awareness is it's never ending, and you are constantly learning more about yourself and why you are the way you are and what you want in this world and what you want to create and how you want to interact. And that's the point. The point is to be ever evolving. But like I said, this is the maintenance stage. This is where we take everything that we learned and we continue these lessons and we continue to practice them. And there's 4 ways in which we practice. Step number 1, consistently create boundaries. Now, these boundaries have to be conducive to the lifestyle that you want to live. So if you have gone through this process of the self-awareness stages and you were talking about something in your business or your career and you've had to let go of old identities and old baggage in order to become this version of you, you have to continuously make that commitment. It gets easier over time, but it's something that you have to show up for every single day, day in and day out. And you have to create a lifestyle that is conducive to those things, because the hardest thing ever is fighting your environment. If you are constantly fighting an environment instead of the challenges in the world, you are doing yourself a disservice. You are exhausting yourself emotionally, physically, and mentally before even tackling the important problems. So you have to create an environment, a lifestyle that is conducive to those goals. Step number 2, get support. This is where your friends, your family, your loved ones come into play. You need to not just reach out and share this experience, share this level of awareness that you now have. You have to allow them to support you. It's one of the biggest things that I talk about, is allowing others to help you, allowing others to support you. And this can be in really challenging times, but also supporting you on the bigger goals and the bigger visions and the things that you want in your life. And that's what we're talking about here, right? Sometimes the self-awareness isn't just bringing you out of a bad place, but it's actually pushing you into a good place. So you need those loved ones. You need to have these conversations where you say, this is what I learned about myself. This was a negative pattern. This was a behavior. This was something that I was engaging in that wasn't conducive to something that I wanted. It made me feel like shit. It made me feel guilty. It made me feel shameful for a certain reason. This was the reason. This is what I learned. This is how I've grown. And these are the actions and the steps that I'm willing to take to make my life different in the future. You have to share that. You have to vocalize it. It can't just be something that you keep inside. Step number 3, change the narrative. So this is where words are so important. If you are talking about something business related, procrastinating, if you are talking cheating in a relationship, if you are talking communication in a relationship, if you are talking anything, because like I said, sometimes it can be the really fucking bad stuff, and sometimes it can be the good stuff that you really want to get great in order to get where you want to go. I don't care what it is, but at the end of the day, you have to change the narrative. You have to change the words that you are using and how you are associating you and that thing. For example, if it's procrastination, change the narrative. I don't want you saying, I'm a procrastinator. Instead, I want you saying, I used to be a procrastinator because of X, Y, and Z. So I changed my environment. I changed the way that I did things. I changed the way that I thought. And that then produced somebody that doesn't procrastinate anymore. I used to be a procrastinator. Once again, it's important to vocalize with friends, family, and loved ones, because then you can internalize it. You can say, oh, I did say that. I remember that. That was a great conversation. I was able to articulate what I used to do, why, and why I don't want to do it any longer. Then you can sit there when you're by yourself and you're in that mindset of, maybe I should procrastinate. Maybe I should do something else. Maybe I should avoid this. And you go, no, fuck that. I had that conversation with so-and-so, and now I know. I have solidified why I do the things that I do. I know this isn't getting me where I want to go. So no, I will not do that. You have to change the narrative. You can't sit there and say, I'm a procrastinator, always have been, always will be. Victim mentality. And it's going to get you nowhere. So this is the part of the self-awareness that really, it's so hard because it's so minute. It comes up in very little ways on very random days. And finally, step number 4, this is the follow through. You have to stand up for the things that you want, even when it's just you versus you. When it's you all by yourself, that's where that time counts. That's where the work really shows up, where you really have to be the person that you want to be, not the person that you've been in the past, not the person that's been easy to fall back on. You have to be the better version of you. You have to show up. This is the muscle. This is what we talk about so many times on the podcast. It is not enough to go to the gym once or to read a book once or to whatever once. It's the day in and day out. I'm committing to this. I'm doing this. You have to sit there and build these things like a muscle. So this self-awareness, this gift that you had at the beginning, that is self-awareness, that you have grown and developed and peeled back the layers like an onion, It means nothing if you don't then change the habits and you don't then change the action. You have to change the action. You have to change the way in which you react to situations and the choices that you make. In any area of your life, you will be presented with an opportunity to go back to your past self. It doesn't matter if it's relationships. It doesn't matter if it's with your family. It doesn't matter if it's communication or procrastination or business or goals or anything. You will always be faced with challenges and they will reappear in your life. And you have to make a conscious decision to no longer do the thing that you used to do. You have to be stronger. You have to be a better version. And you're only doing yourself a disservice if you don't. Because then you didn't know better. Now you know better. Now you know better. Now you have a level of awareness that you didn't have before. And you can chalk it up to, I didn't know any better. We talked about this. When we talked about forgiveness, it's like, listen, if I knew then what I knew now, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have acted in that way. I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have treated myself that way. You have to be aware of this because it will show up and it will be sneaky and it will be so easy to fall back into old habits and old patterns. But this is where the work really begins. This is where you showing up for yourself has to matter. You have to make this a priority. And that is it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you are listening, please give it a rating in the iTunes store. I appreciate it so much. 5 stars and holy shit, comment, this is the best podcast ever. I will be like, you're not wrong. But thank you guys for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye. And for the people watching, look how cute my sweatshirt is. And if you're watching on YouTube, look at how cute. Look at how cute this is. Anyways, this is the cutest little sweatsuit ever. Look at it. So fucking cute. I fucking love this. I'm obsessed. One of my really good friends, Alexa, she has a business where she's fucking tie-dyeing this shit, and check it out. I'll link it below. Cause it ain't bye. That's the ending. First I need water. I need a little bit of water left.